Instead, it lives right next door or down the block. The neighbors from hell. Matt Gutman went on the trail of people you may not want living next to your home sweet home.
What you video this for? What you video this for?
Oh, calm down.
What the you video this for? I'm shooting the gun because of you!
I can't be in any gang.
No, he's not strong enough.
I'm strong.
Brother, you move on to our turf, you're in the gang. Didn't your realtor tell you that?
We didn't use a realtor.
So we have all had neighbors before, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to some of these pretty crazy stories. From yelling at each other, to almost driving each other over with the vehicle, to a neighbor who turns out to be a murderer. This list has it all. Well, what's happening, you guys? I'm your host for this one, Landon Do Not Sing, and welcome back to another Most Amazing Top 10 video. I do share a few of my own scary neighbor stories. It's pretty intense, so make sure you guys stay tuned for the whole video, and in the comment section below, tell me your scary neighbor stories. I'm interested. Alright, let's get right into this video. This is the top 10 scary neighbor stories you won't believe. So starting us off, number 10, we actually have that guy from the intro of this video. That was crazy neighbor Mickey Jackson, who totally lost his mind. It all started when the neighbor was using a loud power washer to try to get paint off of his own property. The neighbors heard a loud noise and came outside and started yelling like right away. After just about minutes of the neighbors yelling, they got into their car. It looks like that they were gonna run down the neighbor making the loud noise.
Are you recording?
I mean, what is their problem? This is what you call a neighbor from hell. Now at number 9, we have the neighbor from apartment 213. The person that was living there had a lot of complaints of like strange smells and weird noises. No one ever reported it, they kind of just ignored it. The apartment was a 1-bedroom apartment located in Milwaukee, Oxford, and the person that was renting seemed like a neighbor from hell. Well, this went on for 2 years. Imagine having to put up with all those noises and weird smells for that long. Well, guess who rented room 213? It was Jeffrey Dahmer. Yes, one of the most famous serial killers in history. He would lure people into his apartment where he would kill them. That's where the smell was and that's what the sound was. He was finally caught and police found 7 human skulls in his apartment along with human hearts, muscles, and 74 Polaroid pictures of his various victims. I mean, is this real life right now? 74 victims? Next up, number 8, we have a most wanted man as a neighbor. I mean, no thanks. Call the FBI. Well, Mr. Thundercat shared his story online. He talked about how his neighbor were wanted felons. He didn't realize how dangerous his neighbors were, well, until he found a picture of them on the 50 most wanted man. So they called the police, but they didn't believe him and they called him a child. Apparently he was 22 years old at the time. Well, after 4 months that went by, more and more people called to complain, and when they showed up, they realized, wow, actually, yeah, this is the guy we've been looking for a very long time. Why didn't nobody tell us? I mean, people were trying to tell you. And I wonder what landed them to be on the top 50 most wanted men list. I mean, do you have to kill someone to land yourself on that list? Well, you know what? Maybe I don't want to know the answer to this, so let's move on. Now at number 7, we actually have a cocaine club that is the next door neighbor to this guy, Tom Swirly, who shared his story. This is what he said. I lived next door to a cocaine club for years. They start up around 11 p.m. or midnight and go till dawn. There'd be like fights 3 or 4 times a week. I think that is so awful. I feel bad for you, buddy. But I guess it's good that you only rent because you can just get up and go to the next place and make sure that that place isn't right next to a cocaine club. There were probably so many dangerous people at the club. I would be way too afraid to leave my house like past 11 p.m. Actually, I'd just be afraid to go to my house at 10 a.m. I would for sure make sure that my doors and windows are locked at all times, and I would probably board up the windows. I would create like a bunker type situation. Nobody in and nobody out. Moving into number 6, I actually have a pretty scary neighbor story. Okay, I might have a couple of them on this list. Well, the first one is here right now. Well, I had a neighbor when I was about 12 or 13 years old. One day I got home from school and there was so many police cars and a ton of officers with like these black masks on. There were also TV news crews. I honestly couldn't believe what was going on. I eventually found out that my neighbors had grow-ups in the house right next to us and we had no idea. I mean, they were pretty dangerous criminals. I don't even know how we never smelt it. I mean, there was thousands of bags full of weed. At number 5, I actually have another neighbor story story for you guys. I mean, what? I grew up in Foster, I traveled from home to home, and I've had a lot of neighbors. Saying that though, this story actually happened when I was 18 years old, when I was living with my dad. So one day we noticed smoke coming through like our front door of our apartment. We realized that there was a fire in the apartment right next to us. So we started getting towels and soaking them and putting them next to doorways. We made sure to have buckets of water in case the fire got in. And then we had to go to our bathroom and our bedrooms and just open up the windows, and we were hanging our face outside of the window because the apartment was filling up with smoke. So we found out just a few doors down there was another grow up. I mean, what the heck is going on? Am I the one that's attracting all these types of people? So apparently they were using so much power, the electrical room caught on fire and exploded. Our neighbor right next to them had to jump out of their window. We were on the 4th floor. My sister was taken into the ambulance because she inhaled so much smoke. It was super scary, and then we had to live in a hotel for the next like 3 months. It was a pretty insane time of my life. All right, number 4, we have a neighbor who might become a murderer. Well, Reddit user Catch Me a Bird had this to say. When I was 7, our next door neighbor came pounding on our front door to scream and threaten to kill my dad because our pet that we kept in our backyard was being too loud. The pet was a rabbit. A rabbit. Is this real life right now? Okay. I own 2 rabbits, and they're just not loud creatures at all. My rabbits are free roaming, they live in our living room, and when people come over, they have no idea that rabbits are even there because they're super quiet and like to hang out underneath our coffee table. I mean, this neighbor is insane. He could face jail time because he is threatening someone else's life over a rabbit. Hopefully these were empty threats because I would be pretty worried. At number 3, we have a crazy woman who likes to set random fires and loves to scream in her backyard. I mean, this would be absolutely annoying. The person who shared this story on Reddit calls this woman the crazy cat lady who lives in her trailer in the front yard. I mean, this is the most random thing ever. She has a house. Why is she in the trailer? Apparently there was a toilet in the front yard as well. And I guess to stay warm, this woman lights bonfires in her front yard. The Reddit user also said that they were very afraid of this woman. I guess because you never know what she will do next. So they always check their closets to make sure that the woman wasn't inside of it. Now that would be a very scary situation, and even scarier if it was cold at night and one night she decides to light up your house as a bonfire for warmth. Number 2, we have the woman who would pour human blood in her rose garden. Is this real life right now? Okay, maybe this should be at number 1. I mean, what beats this one? Well, the story comes from Harry Bridges. Back in the 70s and 80s, my aunt had a neighbor who was a long-time volunteer at the local blood bank. I doubt this would be allowed today, but back then, she was allowed to take home the old expired blood, which would otherwise be thrown out. She used it as fertilizer for her garden. You'd see her out on sunny days on her knees with a big sun hat and gloves, cheerfully pouring human blood into the soil around her roses. Okay, wait, really? Were you actually allowed to take home expired blood? I wonder if people try to sell this expired blood. If I saw my neighbor pouring blood on their front yard, I'm calling the police because I'm pretty sure I have Dexter Morgan living right next door. Finally, number 1, now this one is very scary. This one comes from user Chopped to Pieces. I mean, that's a scary username. Well, they said, there was this guy who lived with his wife and his dog a few doors away in a big house. He rarely left his house, and when he did, he only took his dog for a walk. He also talked very rarely and seemed to avoid other people, while his wife was somewhat more social. The couple lived on our street for a few years, and everything appeared to be fine. However, someday they divorced, and the lady moved away for reasons unknown. So here's the scary part. When the person returned from school, they noticed a SWAT team in front of their house, and the neighbor's house. Apparently, this man tried to commit suicide and he planned to take out the whole street with them. He flooded his entire basement with gasoline, and he had an improvised bomb in his garden shed. It was essentially a big pile of propane gas tanks tied together. Well, luckily this plan didn't work out, and he was stopped before a massive bomb boomed before it went off. It's so scary because this person's house would have been gone by the time he got home from school. Very, very scary way to end this video. This is the end. I was your host for this one, Landon Dowlitzing, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video. Fighters. Fights. I think it's fights, yeah. Yeah, why the hell are firefighters? Okay.
Grow-ups.
Grow-ups. Did I say grown-ups?
Yeah.
Oh, man.